up, magical people? Welcome back to Your Most Magical Life. I'm Mia Magik, and today we are talking about one of my absolute favorite subjects that I have never made a video on before, and it's really close to my heart, near and dear to me. That is, what is Tantra? Tantra is an ancient study, a mythical religion and tradition and practice. There are so many different ways of looking at it, and I'm not going to get too into the dogma, the Mahavidyas, and all of the deeper sort of esoteric, really like rules or regulations or structure of it, but I just want to help explain to you all what it is, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions in the world. People think that Tantra is just about sex, and it's really not. It's about how you live your life in general, in every single way. And it's really an energetic, elemental practice of alchemy that has been completely transformative in my life. It was the only religion or spiritual practice that I never felt like it said to me, this way is the only way, because whenever I hear that, I'm like, well, then it's not the way for me. And it never tried to push out or like reject any part of me. It makes all parts of us acceptable and welcome and really invited to be here and utilized as an opportunity to transform your life, to grow, to heal, to become more whole, to create greater abundance or pleasure or really whatever it is that you desire. So the person that I learned Tantra from is Layla Martin, and I actually did her Vita, Vital and Integrated Tantric Approach coaching certification in 2021. It was so profound. I went to the retreat for that program in 2018 as a gift from Layla, and it was the most transformative retreat experience, healing portal of my entire life. I could never have imagined what I was getting myself into, and I was just innately a devotee after that moment, and it was such a gift to be able to be best friends with my teacher and the person who really deeply inspired me to find a whole new layer of magic within myself and all around me. And so if you are interested in doing a coaching certification, in changing your career or doing your own deeper healing work in a very well held and structured and powerful container, then I am going to share the link below to join Vita. I have a discount code. I did it myself even after being friends with Layla for like 6 years at that point. I watched her run the program for 5 years, and it just kept getting bigger and better and more powerful. And finally I was able to afford it, and I invested, and I paid in full just like everyone else will. And I really gave myself all the way to that program, even it being something that like a friend of mine and a dear sister of mine was teaching, and it was super transformative. So I'm going to make sure that if you all are interested in doing a year-long program, self-healing, and finding a new type of career in something like sexuality or coaching, spiritual coaching, that this is absolutely there to support you. It's a really incredible program. And honestly, for like certifications, it's around $12,000. And for certifications, you get more out of that program than I have seen in anything, especially things that cost like 2 or 3 times as much. It's chef's kiss. So highly recommend. Now, Tantra itself is truly elemental alchemy. It's utilizing all of the elements, your body, which is the earth, your breath, which is the wind, your waters, your emotions, your healing capacity, your creativity, also your pleasure and your sensuality and sexuality, and your fiery transformation, your action, your motivation, your willpower, your power in general, and the relationship to spirit, the fifth sacred thing, the fifth element, that which unites them all and animates them all. So Tantra is about utilizing the connection of all those elements, your breath, your body, your sounding, your vibration, also part of the fifth element, and healing yourself, healing your wounds, meeting all of your edges, going down into the depths of your darkness. Again, people think it's just about sex, but it's about how you relate to all of life. It's about how you show up in all of life, how you are willing to meet even the dark parts of yourself, even the fearful parts of yourself, even the joyful, celebratory, abundant, powerful, big parts of yourself. You want to relate to all of it with presence, with awareness, with acceptance. And one of the alchemical tools of Tantra is pleasure. So that's where people often think that it's related just to sex, but you can use pleasure as a tool to help heal your pain. So that's a big part of the lineage that I come from and that I've learned. Y'all know that I love to lead sex magic. I received that transmission and the blessing from Layla to share that practice before anyone else, not to toot my own horn, but beep, beep, And it really is a transmission, and it's a manifestation practice using your pleasure. So in Tantra, your pleasure is not only a tool for healing, but it's also a tool for manifestation and for magnetizing that which you desire and for creating a more magical life. I have certainly used it to create a more magical life, to call in that which I desire, and also to help me heal my wounds, to help me overcome my patterning and my programming, to help me eradicate the way that the patriarchy operates in my own mind, right? The ways that we tear ourselves down, criticize ourselves, critique ourselves. I have utilized pleasure because your brain cannot experience pain and pleasure at the same time. So I have utilized pleasure as a healing tool. And I think that is perhaps the greatest invitation of Tantra. Ultimately, at its core, it is a sensual relationship to all of life. It is utilizing your senses, your eyes and your ears and your nose and your mouth and your sensations, your feelings, not just your physical sensations, but also your emotional feelings as pathways to the divine, as a mode or a manner of accessing greater spiritual consciousness, connection, empowerment. Again, like that magnetic energy we think about, when we are magnetic or when something is magnetic, it is able to draw in to itself. And so that's what we want to do. That's what manifestation is all about, right? Is creating magnetic energy that then we can draw into ourselves or utilize to draw in more of that which we desire. One of the other things that really resonated for me and that really worked for me and with me, because the only teacher I'd had up to that point was really Mother Nature and the trees and the forests and the earth itself, I felt very deeply resonant with the fact that Tantra is a left-handed path, which means it is a maternal, feminine, goddess-based path. It is very much in acceptance of your creativity, acceptance of your shadow, acceptance of your darkness, acceptance of all of it. All of you is welcome in Tantra. And that's the biggest difference that I found between major religions, right? It's like, oh yeah, your love and light and your peace and your, piety and your humility is welcome here, but your bigness and your pleasure and your power and your magic, none of that's welcome. That you need to just shut down. It's too much. Nobody wants to see it or hear it or deal with it. Tantra is not like that. Tantra is a celebration of life and the acknowledgement that our pain is actually an opportunity for growth. It's relating to life with this abundant perspective, like everything is an opportunity for growth. Everything is an opportunity for expansion. Everything is an opportunity for you to become bigger or better or stronger or more resilient, but also understanding the value of scarcity. So if you are experiencing scarcity, that is an opportunity. That is a place, that's like a little nugget of wisdom for you to work with, to understand, to alchemize in order to then achieve or access more abundance in your life. So the scarcity has value. It's not like, oh, there's something wrong with this. This is so bad. Like, oh, this part of me that sucks, or, that feels shame or that's unworthy. Oh, I just need to get rid of that. It's like, no, this is a beautiful opportunity for alchemy. I'm going to bless this thing. I'm going to accept this thing. I'm going to find compassion for this thing. I'm going to understand what it's here for, because it obviously has a positive intention. It's trying to keep me safe, or else it wouldn't be part of my consciousness. And really relating to life as this whole beautiful, again, opportunity, this chance, this moment that we can grasp if we so choose and create change and transformation. Again, the element of fire. You can get so high on liberating yourself from the chains of thinking that if you say something or if you act a certain way or if you hurt someone's feelings that you're going to be abandoned, you're going to be rejected. All of that may be true, right? It's all societal programming, but it's really impactful on the way that we express ourselves, the way that we show up. And so I asked Layla, hey, what was the, tantric drug scene like? And she's like, no, we pretty much just speak truth. So I experienced this in a retreat with her that was so profound. And one little caveat, I'm gonna just let y'all know, this truth speaking, you might trigger people. That can happen. If you trigger someone and you're coming from your empowerment, your truth, your reality, just your experience, and you're in your power. You're not coming from wounding, you're coming from your empowerment and your true nature, and you trigger them, that's their responsibility. But if you're coming from wounding, from needing validation or justification, wanting to be seen, not wanting to be rejected or abandoned, and you trigger someone, that is your responsibility. That is something that you get to clean up, repair, and deal with. So I experienced this massive truth portal when I was at that same retreat that I mentioned to you, Layla's retreat in Costa Rica. And there was a beautiful demo for a womb breathwork. It was so powerful. This demo was magnificent and magical. I was blown away. And there was one girl who was sleeping through the entire demo. So because I was there as a friend of Layla's, I was supposed to kind of hang back as everyone chose partners in the group. And I hung back, kind of eyes to the ground, just whatever, waiting for everyone to make their partners. And I could feel someone, kind of looking at me, and you were supposed to just nod when you were in agreement with being in a partnership with someone. And I looked up, and this girl just nods right at me without me making any eye contact, or I was not in agreement. And she nodded. And of course, it was the girl who was sleeping through the demo. So the first part of the practice is an opportunity to speak truth, hence the tantric ritual. And I didn't hold back. I told her everything that I was feeling. I was like, why would you come all the way across the world and then fall asleep during the demo? This is such an important part. This is the biggest workshop we've done so far. This is so powerful. It was so beautiful. And the first things that I said actually before any of that was, I don't feel safe. I don't feel like you know what you're doing. You were sleeping through the entire demo. This is not appropriate. You don't know what you're doing. And she was super triggered, but I was in my truth and I was keeping myself safe. So her trigger was her responsibility, and she fucking owned that and took it, which is a big part of Tantra, is just being self-responsible. You are responsible for your reality. You're responsible for your triggers. You're responsible for what gives you the opportunity to grow and expand. So she really met me and responded to me, and she was like, wow, now I feel really afraid, and now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. And you're right, I did fall asleep. I'm super jet lagged. I flew from England. I'm tired. I couldn't stay awake, and I wanted to be present for the actual practice, so I let myself fall asleep. And we just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper into the portal. And that breathwork session was perhaps the single most powerful healing experience of my life, or single session, especially with just breath. It was just breath. There was no substance, no sound bath, no nothing, no partnership. She was just there to hold space. And the fucking yellow brick road emerged out of my womb, and there was just magic everywhere, and all these priests were bowing to me, and I was the goddess. And obviously you could never really explain a visionary experience to someone else, because it's never actually gonna make sense. But needless to say, it was fucking magical and super powerful, and totally healed me in a profound way. And that, in my opinion and perspective, of course, the truth was part of that. The truth led to that, because I wasn't holding anything back. I wasn't, shying away from expressing what I needed to let out. So much of the time, so much of the day, think about it, we're holding things back. We have all these thoughts that we don't say out loud, that we don't mention to other people, that we just keep within ourselves, and we pretend we're not supposed to say them, and we're not supposed to be heard, and we're not worthy of letting people know how we really feel about things. How cats always let you know how they really feel. I'm gonna come up here and pretend I want you to pet me, but actually do not pick me up, I'm out of here. Very clear about their truth, And so infrequently do human beings operate like that. So when you are safe to be in your truth, you can experience massive freedom. And so that's a major element of Tantra and of tantric witchcraft, is really being in your truth, which is such a huge part of how I teach this work, and why Tantra is the backbone of my witchcraft, is because all of you is welcome. Even the parts that are afraid that they're gonna trigger someone else, all of you is welcome in Tantra. And because I had only ever had Mother Earth and Mother Nature as my teacher before, I'd never had a person, I really felt the connection to, again, that elemental awareness, to the goddess, the nature of our reality, that we are the volcanoes, and we are the thunderstorms, and we are the beauty and the breakdown all at the same time. And Tantra is really, it's about living your life sensually. even when that means experiencing your pain. Like for me, I was just innately always a tantrika. I love to eat. I love food. And so I'm gonna make sounds and I'm going to experience the enjoyment of my food. Is that sometimes kind of like Harry met Sally, I'll have what she's having moment? Absolutely, because when I eat something good, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God. What comes up for you when you hear sounds like that? Because so much of our programming makes sensuality equated with sexuality, and they're both bad and wrong. I love just gentle caresses on my face. Feels so good and so delightful. When you see someone doing that or just enjoying their body, just loving their body. I love this skin. God made this body for me. God made this body with me, gave this body to me. What a gift. But when you see someone enjoying their body like this, do you equate that with sexuality? Do you make that mean it's sexual? No, we have these 5, 6, 7, 8 senses for a reason. And feeling emotionally, I think like even our 6 senses is like touch is one, but feeling is another. Actual feeling inside, emotion and experience of energy. And then a 6th sense, or 7th is psychic gifts and powers in that way. There's so many senses. We are meant to experience them and meant to delight in them. And that is where Tantra just made me feel so welcome, so accepted, because I was always too big. It was like always too much, too loud. Like there is no such thing in Tantra. You just get to be yourself. Another element of Tantra that I love so much is celebration. You are allowed to celebrate. You're allowed to enjoy your life. So one of the things that I am celebrating, y'all, is that I wrote a book, and this is it, Intuition. And speaking of celebration, y'all, I got an unheard of book deal. Literally like never before seen, unprecedented for a first-time author. This book, an oracle deck, a second book, and a tarot deck, all in one deal. Never happened before. That's incredible. No proof of concept. Just like, hey, I have some cool followers on Instagram and like some great engagement. And when the first part of the deal occurred, even with the timing of it, I was leaving for Antarctica. I finished my proposal. My agent sent it out. I had 10 days and before I was leaving and I was going to be off the grid. And she was like, no, that's never going to happen. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not how it works. It's going to take at least 6 weeks. And I was like, Colleen, trust me. I'm a witch. It's going to happen. It's going to work. It's going to be fine. She was like, no, it's not. I'm sorry. Guess what? The day before I left for Antarctica, who had a book deal? This witch. And I truly accredit the level of magic that I am able to wield, that I trust as my reality, that I have created as my baseline, foundational, fundamental experience of existence. I credit that to the work I did in Tantra of eradicating my limiting beliefs, transforming my energy and any blockages inside of my body, exercising my old traumas, eradicating them from my belief system, from my programming, from my subconscious mind, from my energy, from my physical vessel. I used those practices. I used that magic of Tantra to heal myself. And I filled those places with magic and with belief in myself and with the capacity to transform fantasy into reality and to trust that I was capable of holding and wielding that type of power and feeling worthy of it. So I know that this work works because I've seen it in my own life. And the reason I knew to really give myself over to it and to really trust in it is because of what I saw in Layla. This is something she shares with her audience, but Layla was being molested, drugged, and raped by her own father from one until 6, with her mom not believing her. The one person that's supposed to safeguard and take care of and protect you, inflicting the most unimaginable harm upon you. Can you imagine the damage that that does to a person? And yet that woman has used these teachings and this tradition to become the world's foremost expert and teacher of sexual healing and alchemy and turning pain into power through pleasure. She can make jokes about the guy now, literally, and like laugh about it. Ha ha, my dad, the sociopath. Like, whoa. That is some fucking alchemy. That is some transfiguration, y'all. And you know, like, I consider myself to be young Professor McGonagall. Transfiguration is my life's work, even in the Gene Keys. When I saw that, I fucking lost my shit and had a whole psychedelic experience with no drugs. Just like, oh my God, of course. Like, I really am her. And transfiguration is changing something from one form into the other. And that is what I have done with myself. That is what I have done in my own life with Tantra and with elemental alchemy. I have changed myself from a sad, miserable, depressed, self-loathing muggle girl into a magical, embodied warrior fucking witch queen who I worship. I'm like, my goddess, you are fucking incredible. I wouldn't trade lives with anybody. I love being myself. And I became myself through tantric transfiguration. And that's why I believe in this practice so much. And that's why I let myself enjoy my life and my body and the fabrics. Like you've all seen, I'm always just wearing silk or velvet, you know, these days, or cashmere. Because like I love to just feel these fabrics. I love to just feel my life. And this program was so powerful. I was the first person that ever received the transmission to share and teach sex magic from Layla. And I love to bring these rituals to my retreats. I share so much of this medicine. And in Vita, in the coaching certification, again, it's a year long. You do a whole trimester just working on yourself, just doing your own rituals. And then you move into learning about the coaching. And then there's this whole trimester on business, and you do majors, and you can choose what you want to specialize in. It is the most thorough, well-rounded. It's like getting a master's degree almost, really, with the amount of information that she puts into it. And it's absolutely mind-boggling. And I watched her provide this program for many years before I actually dove in and did it. I invested in myself, in my sister. Like, you know, I probably could have gotten it for free if I'd asked her, but I wanted to pay for it. I wanted to, because I'd seen what it had done for other women. And I knew what just going to the retreat for the program had done for me. I became a completely different person after that experience. So I believe in this work wholeheartedly. I am the witch that I am today because of Tantra and because of its openness to the goddess in all her forms, and especially in relationship to the earth and relating to our bodies as an emanation of the earth. I really do believe that Tantra could be like the religion of the future. For me, it's tantric witchcraft, but witch means wise. It's all about your wisdom, and Tantra is goddess-based wisdom. It's ancient wisdom that can still support the medicine of our future. I hope that this video encourages you to look at even your darkest shadow sides, even your small self, the things you don't like about who you are, as opportunities. Those are like little gems. They're little jewels of wisdom that you can use to grow and to expand, to become the best version of yourself. And your pleasure, again, pleasure is not just sexual. It's the same as like the difference between sensual and sexual. Pleasure is pleasure. I like to spell it P-L-A-Y, like pleasure. It's pleasure. It's what you want to play, and you want to have fun, and you want to enjoy yourself, and you want to feel good, and like, oh, life's so beautiful. There's so many ways to get pleasure. That involves laughing with your friends and being silly and playing dress up. And for me, doing my healing work. I had a super deep session with my therapist yesterday, and guess what? I'm so grateful because I feel different on the other side. That doesn't mean it's not hard to like face your fears and own your shit and like look at your patterns and your wounding and the way that you've inherited behavior from your parents that sucks and you don't want to be like that. It's not like awesome. But who you get to be on the other side with new awareness and new potential and new power that you've reclaimed from whatever it was that was having it over you is so worth it. And it is Tantra that really helped me heal my life and heal who I am. And this program was a massive part of that. So if it is something that you are interested in, I'm going to put the link below. It's, like I said, it's a full certification. It's not just for your own personal healing. There's so much business training and coaching training. And I already had a business going, so I didn't, need to utilize the business training that there is, but it is incredibly thorough. If you have nothing, if you have no business, I'm very excited for the moment that I have a certification to offer to all of you, but I believe in this one wholeheartedly. It changed my life. And so please let me know if you decide to join the program. They start in January and it will change your life. I want to hear all about it. I cannot wait to know some of the transformation stories that occur for all of you, because no doubt it will change your life. And I am so grateful to have inspired you, hopefully, to experience an even deeper relationship to reality through Tantra and your elemental embodiment and transformation. And again, y'all, I'm just so blessed to be here sharing this wisdom and magic with you all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am Mia Magik, and welcome to your most magical life.